Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tension in the music industry is rising fast as Jay-Z is said to be feeling the heat, while investigators intensify their focus on Diddy. Reports now suggest Diddy may be working directly with authorities, a move that's sending ripples of concern through some of the biggest names in entertainment. Insiders like Jaguar Wright and Gene Deal claim this situation doesn't stop with one person. It may expose a much larger web of connections. With mounting pressure, the Los Angeles Police Department is allegedly broadening its investigation, taking a closer look at anyone tied to Diddy's inner circle. One thing is clear, this unfolding saga is only just beginning.
A famous quote from someone who was acquitted, and he said, all right, where do I go to get my reputation back?
Right.
I mean, social media was a light. Beyonce's next. Jay-Z's next. All the people in Inner Circle is next.
Yeah, and the problem is there are just so many pictures of the...
Over 100 civil lawsuits now loom over Diddy, and the Los Angeles probe marks a decisive shift from public controversy to genuine criminal examination. What once appeared to be a final reckoning is increasingly being viewed as only the first step in a far broader unraveling. Previous legal developments no longer resemble closure. They read more like the opening pages of a much larger downfall. Diddy, meanwhile, is neither retreating nor remaining quiet. Sources close to the situation indicate he's ready to defend himself aggressively, even if that means revealing the extent of others connected to his inner circle. Should accountability reach him, it's becoming clear the repercussions may ripple well beyond a single figure.
From a man in Florida. According to ABC News, investigators in L.A. received a report from a police department in Florida where the alleged victim lives, and now they are working on the case. Eyewitness News anchor Mike Marza in the newsroom with the very latest details. Mike.
Well, David, here's what we know. The new allegations of sexual assault against Sean Diddy Combs come from a music producer who went to police in Florida, but the alleged crimes happened in Los Angeles. Jonathan Hay is his name. That's the person who filed the complaint, and he's one of the John Does that filed a civil lawsuit against Combs in July. The first alleged incident was in September of 2020 in LA. Hay alleging that Combs performed sex acts in front of him and asked for oral sex. In a second incident in 2021, Hay claims that CJ Wallace, the son of the rapper Notorious B.I.G., took him to a location where two men put something over his head, he says, before Combs forced himself on Hay several times. Combs is currently serving out a sentence in Fort Dix, New Jersey, following his conviction earlier this year on two prostitution-related charges. Combs' representatives have...
The throne is shifting, and Jay-Z is stepping up. While Diddy's drama unfolds, Jay-Z has already distanced himself, letting the dust settle. The power dynamics didn't vanish. They just got a makeover. Seen as the mastermind all along, Jay-Z's quietly taking the reins, no longer playing it low-key. With Diddy out of the spotlight, he's poised to take full control of the empire he meticulously crafted over years of strategy and finesse. The game isn't changing. The player at the top is.
Do you know they're still having white parties?
And who's on her? What?
Yeah, they're still having white parties. Michael Rubin is throwing them now. You know the guy
yeah, we've heard those stories.
Bunny hops for?
Yeah, little baby. We've heard some stories. Yeah, we've seen the bunny hop.
You know who he's cool with, right? Who he's very close with. Mr. Carter. So we went from Diddy's camp throwing the white parties to now the Jigga Man's camp is throwing the white parties.
Diddy's drama was just one pawn in a bigger chess game. His courtroom showdown was a diversion, putting one name in the spotlight while the real movers stayed hidden. Now, as civil cases heat up, the story's shifting, and whispers are growing louder that this isn't just about him. With every new revelation, it looks like others were pulling strings from behind the curtain. The deeper investigators dig, the more it seems like Diddy was just a piece of a much larger puzzle. The real question is, who's next?
Like all the hyperbole, all of the pomp and circumstance, all of this, all of that, it means nothing. It means nothing. This was all done for the public's entertainment. This was all done to get people like me to be quiet. This was all done to give weirdos like Vladimir Lyuski and Torre the ability to constantly challenge and try to check my veracity, my actuality, my truth, and to get the public to not believe whistleblowers like me. That's why this was done.
The real justice is still MIA for the victims. One arrest won't cut it. The whole system needs a hard look. Insiders whisper that big players were calling the shots, protecting their interests, and keeping the cycle going. The writing's on the wall. This wasn't a one-man show. As he turns up, it's clear investigators gotta widen the lens. The question is, who else is in the hot seat?
Still not enough. Still not enough. And it's wild because she's getting such a better deal than dear Lee Cordell Smith is.
30 million and your perpetrator gets 50 months? I mean,
Still not enough.
jeez.
Her life is never going to be the same. And people are going to find ways to make her life complicated, to force her to have to spend that 30 million every way they possibly can. You know, there is no up. There is no.
The plot thickens. Video footage allegedly shows Jay-Z, Usher, Kevin Hart, and Diddy at a private gathering. But weirdly, no one's been formally questioned, and the case feels like a total snooze fest. Authorities supposedly had a ton of evidence, but barely anything seen the light of day. And what's been shared got swept under the rug. Diddy's arrest raised major red flags about some seriously shady stuff, but nothing stuck. It's like the whole thing was stage managed to go nowhere fast. Observers aren't buying it. This looks like a case that was deliberately kept on a short leash. What's really going on here?
Like that. Some kind of charter school, independent private school in Miami Gardens, which is right there in the area of South Florida where he's been warden for Satan of. Because he ain't nothing but a shepherd for the devil. But she was going to invite him to come to the school to speak to her students there, K through 12. Yeah. You want to know what I find really interesting? All of these people that wanted to bring him to schools and bring him to this and bring him to that. How the hell are they going to do that when he's on the SEX offenders registry list? He's not allowed to be around kids.
That does make moving a little hard.
He's not allowed to be around schools. He's on the registry. Didn't I already do a tutorial about the registry? Like, I don't know. He is a registered SEX offender, and people want to bring.
The dominoes are starting to fall. One civil case sparked a criminal probe, but it's likely just the tip of the iceberg. As prosecutors dig deeper, comparing docs and piecing together the puzzle, expect some major connections to emerge. Same names, same places, same MO. This feels like the start of something big, not the end. The real show's just getting underway, and it could get way messier than anyone's expecting. The question is, who's next in line?
By Christmas next year.
People say a lot of things. You know what else they said? They said he was going to get bail. How did that work? You know what else they said at the end of that trial, even after he was found guilty of the Mann Act, they was putting together a 4th of July party. How did that work? People say a lot of things, don't they? I guess they don't hear God say no. I don't know what's going to happen to him. I'm not even trying to guess. What I am praying for, though, is that real victims and real survivors actually get the attention that they deserve, that they get the justice that they deserve. I'm praying that Derek is going to be able to get out of jail. I'm hoping that the
plot's thickening fast. Docs and testimony allegedly link Diddy, Jay-Z, and others to some serious allegations, and it's eerily similar to Cassie's case, which got authorities' attention pronto. Observers reckon the evidence was strong enough to spark a criminal probe, which is probably why Diddy settled that case ASAP. That quick move looks like a damage control play, but it didn't exactly put the lid on things. Instead, it seems to have kicked off a chain reaction, bringing even more scrutiny and heat. Now, the question is, what's the next domino to fall?
Will not just be left at civil cases and will actually be turned to criminal cases because they should be, because I got a big issue with everyone thinking that money is the end all be all into stopping a predator from operating. It is not.
Amen.
It is not. Why do so many of these cases stay civil? Why aren't they turned criminal when there's criminal acts all through the pages?
Can you file a criminal charge and still get money off of a camera? Like, can you sue later, or is it strictly victims looking for money?
Simpson's family, OJ was acquitted and they was able to take him to civil court and get him for bread. It really doesn't matter which way you do it.
That is true.
It can go either way. A civil proceeding and a criminal proceeding is just two different proceedings. But if you have criminal acts in a civil proceeding, just because someone gets paid or it gets settled and people...
Insiders say Diddy's circle saw the writing on the wall long before the drama went public. Folks like Jaguar Wright and Gene Deal were sounding the alarm for years, claiming the red flags were there all along. To them, Diddy and Jay-Z are two sides of the same coin, different styles, same intensity. Gene Deal reckons Diddy was the loud, in-your-face side, while Jay-Z was the quiet mastermind, playing the long game with precision. The question is, who's really calling the shots here?
Stuff to Ja Rule so he could go after Jay-Z. They not gonna come out and speak on nothing that has anything to do with them, and they praying that they not on the tape doing crazy stuff, being oiled up in the whole 9 yards. Until the Fed say, hey, yo, listen here. Hey, buddy, we got you on this tape. And girl looked like she was pretty young. We're not going to show it, but we need you to come and testify against Brother Love. That's when they're going to start talking. And they're not going to be talking in his favor. 250 cameras all over the house. Somebody got caught stealing a cookie out the cookie jar. When you that powerful, you didn't get that powerful without having one or two or maybe three.
Diddy's making a major U-turn. Reports say he's now cooperating with feds, trying to cut his losses as the heat turns up. Insiders claim his team's in crunch talks with officials, pushing for a deal that'll save his skin. This move screams desperation. He's got to know the walls are closing in. With investigators widening the net, it's game on for a bigger fish. The real question, what or who is Diddy willing to give up to save himself?
And Jay was next in line. So to separate him, when in fact, they may be two of the same, but because Jay-Z is low key, that low-key sneaky shit, and Diddy is and was rambunctious, just out with it. It don't mean that they're not two of the same. And one just a little quiet with his shit.
What happened at the basketball game? When they ran into, you guys ran into Jay-Z?
They were just talking. They was talking amongst each other about their little white girls, their little skinny white girls.
And I mean, did Diddy always say negative things about Jay around you?
The time he was trying to get
Diddy's world is closing in. Federal heat's on, and he's being pushed to flip. But things just got messy, eh? An alleged custody violation's thrown a wrench in his plans, delaying his release and possibly adding time to his sentence, with options dwindling. Insiders say Diddy's getting desperate to cut his losses. He's got to make tough calls, even if it means burning bridges. This is high-stakes survival mode. What's he willing to sacrifice to get out?
The feds. Do you think that's true?
Whether it's true or not, and he might have been cooperative in some way, shape, or form, you don't get away with human trafficking unless you give up John Gotti or something like that, and that's not what happened here. I can tell you, Jesse, that this investigation's been going on for a long time, very closely held by HSI, so much so that even some of the agents on the raid a week ago today didn't know whose house they were raiding until they got there. That's how closely held this
Wow, because there could have been a tip.
Absolutely.
And there are allegations that he was paying law enforcement through his chief of security, which also happened to be Michael Jackson's chief of security.
I don't know if I buy into that. You know, people in Diddy's situation like to have those involved in law enforcement close to them. But that doesn't mean they're taking payoffs. That doesn't mean they're doing big favors. They like that closeness. It's just like how Diddy was able to court Diageo or Estee Lauder. He was very successful in doing that, and that made him a lot of money and gave him credibility outside the hip-hop rap world. And that's what he was trying to do here.
The plot thickens. A new lawsuit filed by Jonathan Hay in July 2025 just turned up the heat on Diddy. Hay claims he was invited to a warehouse with Biggie-related stuff, got isolated, and things took a dark turn. This civil case could be the game changer. Allegations are serious, and the stakes are sky high. This isn't just about one courtroom. The question is, how far will this go?
Instead of May of that same year, the news coming after reports of Combs drinking in prison, something he denies, after he was accepted into a rehab program in prison that could have reduced his sentence by up to a year. He's also been accused of making a prohibited three-way phone call from prison.
Combs' representative, Judah Engelmeyer, telling me by phone earlier today, Tom, that yes, a three-way call was made between one of Combs' lawyers, who did bring in another person on that call with Combs while he has been at Fort Dix, but that there was nothing improper about it. But again, that is not something that you were supposed to do at all, so those lawyers should have known better. As for drinking, he doubled down and said that Combs was not drinking, and that in fact he's been admitted into this very specialized rehab program that Fort Dix offers. Is actually going to potentially lower his sentence. Yeah. He could be released earlier because of that. So they're saying he's...
The walls are closing in, with Diddy cornered and allegedly ready to talk. The heat's spreading fast. It's not just about Jay-Z's innocence anymore. It's about how long others can keep their distance. The pressure's rippling out, touching everyone who was involved, looked away, or benefited from the empire. Can anyone linked to this stay clean? The clock's ticking.
Donald Trump is seriously considering commuting his sentence, and there has been a lot of fallout with our story.
By the way, commuting his sentence before he's even in a prison.
Right.
He's still at Brooklyn MDC waiting to find out which prison he's going to, but this is something that President Trump is considering, and the fact that he's considering it is causing a bit of an internal war at the White House, because not everybody in the administration thinks this is a good idea.
So we are told this, and this is coming from somebody high up in the White House. We broke that story, incidentally, that right after the sentencing, his legal team, Diddy's legal team, got in touch with somebody who had the president's ear, and that the president was looking at the paperwork.
And the president acknowledged that
like 2 days later.
Yeah, in the Oval Office.
2 days later. Yeah. So we now know that Trump is considering. We're told that he's kind of waffling. He's going back and forth on this, but there are staffers in the White House telling him, don't do it. So we put this story up last night.
All I know is everything that I read in that article looked accurate.
Well, look, that's probably some relief to Diddy's team, you know. And
I don't know. I think they're moving ahead. I don't think anybody is counting on anything, and
right.
I think the reporting was accurate.
How did you hear he's sparing since sentencing?
I don't know. I mean, I hopefully we'll see him soon and find out.
I guess lastly, I would ask, what do you think his future looks like?
I have the utmost confidence in Sean. I think Sean will make a comeback, the likes of which people are not expecting. So I've watched him over. I've known him for a long time. I have the utmost confidence in him.
In whatever sphere. I mean, he's done business.